And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. Feels like we're in a dream, you know what I mean.
Back again, Danny. I missed you, buddy.
Same here, buddy. We made it.
Yes, we did. We did. As we just showed with the ad that sort of brought us in was with part of our intro. We just got back from Horwood Lake Lodge. Had a fantastic time up in the northern country. We certainly love your northern walleye, and I have to say, I'm still blown away. I know we were talking about it before we went live. The quality of fish that were caught this year, and you had talked about some of your big walleye that you've caught, and surprisingly, in shallow water. Well, this was the year. I tell you, there were some decent walleye caught in water that you wouldn't expect to catch them in this time of year.
It's kind of an overlooked thing for walleye anglers, and I think the last 5 or 6 years we've been exploring that more. It's migrating north. From a tournament aspect, we're very much aware of it. We definitely look at it, and that's actually one of the things that help us spin out, because all of a sudden now our water column has grown drastically, and it doesn't matter the time of year. But and I love a shallow water bite. You got to experience that with me. We were fishing in probably like 50 water down here, and it's nothing more exciting than chasing big walleye in shallow water. It's so much fun. They're always 100%. Aggressive.
So a big shout out, because I know folks that are heading up to Hearst are excited for that tournament, and to Christelle and her army of volunteers that are prepping right now. I'm sure as we're speaking, tip of the hat to you folks in the efforts that you're putting forth, and hopefully the outcome is what you as well as the anglers had hoped for. But unfortunately, we do have a bit of bad news, Dan, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, unfortunately, tragedy has struck our fishing community, especially up north in the Capscasing movie area. They've tragically lost 4 young people into an ATV accident the other day. So I know many anglers that are personally been affected. Like this is nieces and nephews to people that I know that are actually currently. I don't believe that they're going to fish this weekend, but they're involved with the Hearst tournament. Some are in the Sioux tournament as well. So it's very unfortunate. Family takes priority. Amen. And one thing I do know about how they are up there, they're very close knit, and they will bond together very, 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 very well over this. So it's some sad news, and we're sending our condolences and best way we can.
Right on. Well, as I said, heartfelt condolences to all those who are involved that are having to deal with the aftermath of this tragedy, and hopefully you find a little bit of closure. You find some peace. It's never easy burying a child. It's not supposed to work like that. So, as a fellow father, I can truly appreciate the grieving that's going on right now and the shock and awe that they're dealing with. But we're thinking of you. That's about all Absolutely. I can say. First and foremost, thanks, Tony, for stopping in as you always do. Adrian, nice to see you as well. Alicia, I know why you're here. If we're talking bass, Alicia's right around the corner. Merle, me too. I'm really excited for Camp McIntosh as well. And thank you, Merle, for allowing Mike to spend a little bit of time with us. I know you've got a busy house. He's busy right now with the CFN fish off, which again is just the numbers are shocking to say the least. How many anglers we have, how many fish they've caught. But Merle, as I said, you are a warrior. Thanks so much for allowing Mike to do what he does, because nobody does it better. So thanks for that. And Jen Watson, good evening to you as well. The cool thing about what we're doing tonight, Danny, is we're talking about the next gen. This is the part, this is the stuff that, I love talking about. I love seeing the next generation of passionate anglers getting involved, but they're doing it maybe definitely a lot different than me, but maybe a little bit different than you in terms of how young they're getting involved in tournaments. How old were you when you started in tournaments?
Oh, tournaments. It's kind of I started very young, and then I have a very large gap in between. So like my first tournament, I think I was like 9 years old when I got into that, but I don't think I fished a tournament. I think 10 was the last one I fished, and then 37 was the next one I fished. So there's a big, large gap in between all that. But, I totally, fishing is addictive in its own right. And then when you get tournament fishing, it bumps it up to another level. And like I said, when I got into tournament fishing, it was at a later age, and I thought I was a pretty good angler until I got tournament fishing. Then I realized I was not a good angler at all. And I realized how good I could be. And it was one of those foresets where I realized that this is 85%, 90% skill, 10% luck, not the other way around. And I focused on those numbers instead of the other way around. And like I said earlier, I'm at that, if you look at a trade, 10,000 hours, I'm like 500 hours, and I'm working my way up at the mark. But I can see the progression. I like it. And I love seeing new people coming into this. This year especially, I know what our guests tonight, I'm very proud of what they're doing. And we really seen a lot of that with, with Jerry and Tanner, his young son. And, we got Samuel as well. And all these young kids coming, they're doing very, very well, I might add. And they're giving guys run for the money in the end of the year. So it's nice to see that.
Truly. Well, without further ado, let's bring in our special guests. Let them introduce themselves. First and foremost, Gary, could you please introduce yourself as well as your son?
Hey there, name's Gary. I'm part of the youth director for Saugus City. I have Christian here. He's an angler, part of the club as well.
Very cool. Very,
Excited
very cool.
Here,
Guys.
Cody, you're next. Introduce yourself as well as your uprising and the next Cooper Gallant to your right.
I like where we're heading with that, Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe he could take me some cruising around the state one day, right? Cody Colfax. I'm the youth director of the Erie Bassmasters. This is my son Chase.
Hello.
He's 10 years old. He's a junior angler in my program, and he's geared up for this weekend. That's what we're here for.
So talking about that, first, I guess we'll talk to you, Cody, just because you're up here anyway. Who got you into fishing?
Oh, hey, my dad's not a fisherman, but you know what? I think he was the first one to ever take me fishing. But it just, something stuck for me, and I found a cousin and an uncle that fished a lot, and then I met an elderly man, and I listening to Danny talk earlier about where he grew up and stuff. Like I grew up in Long Point Bay, basically in the summertime, in a trailer park. So I had a lot of elderly gentlemen and influences that would take me out fishing quite often. So I got a taste of it a lot at a young age, but not like what these kids are getting.
So Chase, I got to ask you the same question. Is it the gentleman to your left that got you into fishing, or what sparked the passion?
Yes, he did, but when it really, really sparked is when I first did my first tournament with him, and when I won, I was like, man, I wish there was a tournament for like kids and other stuff of kids. And then he made it happen. So that caused me to really, really, really like fishing a lot.
Well, I think that's the end of our show right there. Danny, what do you think? I don't think we're going to be able to top that. Well done, Chase.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay, Christian, this is tough. Gary, first I have to ask you, we ask all of our guests, who is it that got you into fishing, Gary?
It was definitely my father. At a young age, always outdoors. I think the first trip, I was 4 years old, Perry Sound, rock garden camp. Oh, that was a long time ago. I think I brought in a stringer of, say, 40 sunfish and rock bass, my first outing. And I brought it home. I wish I had that picture for you. I was wearing a shirt with a stringer, holding it up and said, "Where's the beef?"
Yeah.
And then ever since that cottage outing, that was it. I was hooked for life.
Yeah, it's tough not to get hooked. Christian, I have to ask you, and tip of the hat to you, because I've been watching a lot of your videos. You and Trevor, you have a special place in my heart when I see you guys step up in front of the camera and do what you do, and you do it so well. A lot of folks are engaged by some of the stuff that you're saying, and of course some of the tackle that you're demonstrating, talking about, and basically just bringing to light that we may not know. But the fact that it's coming from a young angler like yourself, dude, keep up the great work. But I got to ask, is it the gentleman to your right that got you into fishing, or what set off the passion for you?
To be honest, yeah, mainly him. It's been a family thing. My brothers, we always try and go out as much as we can, spend the time with each other, and honestly, it's been a family thing. Everybody, mainly him, that he got me into tournament fishing, but fishing in general, it's a family thing for sure.
Right on. I have to ask, with this weekend's tournament coming up, and folks that may not know about it, we're going to hopefully make sure that they know everything about it by the end of this show. But Ontario Bass Nation, obviously it's been a club that's been around for a number of years. When did the youth division start?
Personally, I just started mine 3 years ago, so I'm only 3 years into it. I'm not exactly sure how long I know. So Curtis from the Coorth, the club there, he's been operating a long time. I know he's got up to like 25, almost 30 members or something like that in his club. So like hats off to Curtis for that, because I struggle putting 16 kids on the water every tournament, let alone 30. So honestly, I personally don't have an answer of the how long it's been around. But I know Gary's club and my club are fairly new, and it's a new thing that not a lot of people have heard about. So it's getting some interest. It's going good.
It's awesome stuff. I have to ask, with that being said, you are the president of the Mississauga chapter, Gary. When did it start, and when did your junior division start?
Our junior division started last year with the help of a few members in the club. They've always seen the main club having a junior as just somebody stepping up to do the work. It is time consuming. It's working on its second year. As far as I know, the junior Ontario Bass Junior's been around for quite a bit of time. We do have a senior in the club. I would say they're close to 20 years. Not all clubs are there, but there's a few clubs that are starting to grow right now. I think Port Perry's back on the scene with their club this year, which is great. And I think Border City opened up a club last year as well. So there's a lot of new clubs starting to generate, which is really good. The interest is definitely there.
100%. And you are also the president, Cody, of the Erie Bassmasters?
Youth director. We'll call it
Youth
that.
director. Okay. And
But
that
yes,
club's been around for a number of years as well, has it not?
the adult club's been around for a lot of years now. Yeah. I would say at least 15 to 20 years now. Now the junior club I just started 3 years ago. And as Chase was talking about there, he was the one that kind of sparked the idea in my head by saying, I'd love to compete against kids one day, Dad. And it just I would love to see you compete against kids, Chase. So let's do it, buddy. So I took it to our club, our adult club, and pitched the idea, and it got voted in. And here we are 3 years later, and we're making a lot of noise, I think. So
I would say, Dan, I have to say, I think Alicia says it best here, and we were talking about this before we went live. I think our community, our industry, whatever you want to call it, the angling family at large, we always talk about getting kids into fishing, and a lot of us do a lot of work. I think some of us need to do more because, when we have youngsters like this in front of us doing wonderful things, talking like seasoned vets when it comes to angling, I tell you, I take a step back, and I feel as if we've accomplished something by getting the passion lit in these two anglers, but we got to do more of it. And this is a big deal tonight to get that, maybe light the wick, if you will. But Alicia, a great point that you make, to Cody and Gary for stepping up and, sparking the passion in both your sons, as well as some of the youth anglers that fish amongst them. Big shout out to both of you for doing that. Dan, I know you got a question.
I do. I got many actually when we get rolling here, but it's more or less one of the things you guys keep talking about is clubs. So up where I live up here in the North Shore, between Sunbury and Sioux, we don't have many fishing clubs. So you guys seem to have a lot more of them. Do you guys tend to work a lot together with different clubs and try to facilitate tournaments amongst each other and all that kind of stuff? Like how does that actually work for you guys down south?
Go ahead, Gary.
For the most part, we definitely work together. The last thing we want is to have the kids on shore. We all can go shore fishing, but to get the opportunity to be on a boat captain takes you out, puts you on water that they've already done the work for, and just getting them the feel of how to catch the fish, the routine of, waking up in the morning early, looking for that early bite, why the bite's not happening sometimes. You got to teach them, certain ways, which is really great. We can't let them on shore. We got to get them out there. And I'm sure Cody's reached out to me several times. Other youth directors have reached out just to see if there's any juniors like Christian that can participate.
Awesome.
I'm sure it goes on. Yeah.
Do you see the numbers growing? Do you see the interest growing as more and more kids get involved? Like obviously, I'm a long ways from being a kid, but I can remember being a kid, being back then what your buddies were doing. That's what you wanted to do. Are you starting to see that kind of influx?
It's definitely growing. Even at the shows, the kids are running up to the booths trying to get signed up, gather information. It's definitely growing. This year, I think our numbers even have grown for the championship. So you see it growing. There's a lot of help that's starting to come, like boaters, volunteers, even people donating whatever they can, fishing rods. It's happening. Definitely happening.
For sure. I get a lot of donations for my club, and shout out to all those people who donated. Jen, I know you're watching, and you're one of them. So shout out to Jen, and just the entire community's come together around my area. Like it's just shocking the amount of boat captains that I have available, like to me, that I could and they're just all so happy to help too. Like it's we try to give them a thank you at the end, and half the time I gotta shove it in their boat before while they drive away. So no, everybody's doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And then back to your one question, Danny there, Gary and I work together quite often, actually. This summer was the first summer that we've actually combined some tournaments together, where his kids and my kids fished together. And then we also included Mark Penner. So he was, that's the St. Catherine's Club. So we had them involved in a couple tournaments as well. So it's, we're grooving along here, and it's going pretty good. And he's fired right up for next weekend. Going to what Gary said, we got somewhere between 23 to 25 boats next weekend, and teams traveling teams traveling as far away as Petawawa, North Bay, and the Kawarthas. So like we're really, really excited. We're going to put on a show for them.
That's awesome. Your mom has jumped in here and has given us a little bit of a backstory on where you got your passion. I think this is so cool. I love when the moms get involved. But she sums it up by saying this: it can't happen without the selfless contribution of the boat captains. And thank you to your captains for shaping the lives of young anglers. Sherry, I couldn't have said it better myself. That is truly amazing to see adults do what we should be doing, which is taking these young, passionate anglers out on the water and giving them a taste of what we love to do. And it's all about inclusivity. And at the end of the day, yes, sometimes us dads like our dad time, but I'll say this: no accomplishment I've ever done comes anywhere close to watching your kids succeed. So watching you hold up a trophy, Chase and Christian, I can just imagine the twinkle in both your dad's eye.
Yeah.
And just think all the amount of tackle you can get away with buying now, because you're not just buying it for yourself, now, you're for everybody else, eh?
Hey, you guys are ratting me out. Stop.
Yeah.
Now, Christian, I know you've got a plethora of videos that you've done, exposing and depicting a whole bunch of baits. Are you able to talk, like, if we're going to be out on Lake Erie this time of year, is there a specific bait that you're going to use that works really well for you, or is there a confidence bait that you're probably going to lean towards this upcoming tournament?
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of baits. Confidence-wise, there's a new bait Exxon just came out with, the Rally Shad, designed by Cooper Gallant. That's definitely one of my confidence bait for smallies. I use it in a 3.75 on a ball jig. But honestly, that's one of my confidence lures. If we're talking about baits that I think would work for this weekend, it's the Hot Shot Minnow from X-Zone. It's one of my favorite drop shot baits of all time. It's amazing. I love it. It's easy to fish drop shot for me. I find it a lot of anglers complaining about it, but I love drop shot. And honestly, it's my favorite way to fish.
That's awesome.
I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Chase, I got to ask you, I think it's pretty cool looking through the eyes of a 10-year-old. I got out in the big water. I think I was in my 20s. I can't imagine being out on Lake Erie when I was 10 years old, fishing lakes that produce trophies and where other tournament anglers have had lots of success and had tournaments of their own. If you can describe how it feels to be out on big water and competing on some of these waters that some of the elites that you look up to also compete on.
Well, it is kind of crazy that some are actually pretty younger than me. He's like some are 9, but
it's
awesome.
Is it like, what's it feel like when you catch a fish out there, like when during a tournament?
Like you get confidence and more confidence and more confidence once you get closer and closer.
More time to spend out there, right?
Yeah.
That's so odd. 10 years old. 10 years old, Chase. You're out fishing on Lake Erie. Now, obviously, with Lake Erie being big water, it's something that Dan and I worry about, holding a tournament of our own. Is there anything that, other than wind, because obviously, Lake Erie can be a beast that we can't always tame. Are there any concerns when you're out on Long Point? If you got areas that are designated for a blow day, if you have a bad day of wind, have you got any measures in place for that?
Yeah, so we do have boundaries for a weather day. If the wind blows and the outer bay is out of question, we'll send all the kids into the inner bay, and it's a lot more protected in there. Now, out in the middle of the bay, you'll still find some waves out there, but you can tuck yourself pretty far back into the marsh there, and and then it becomes a largemouth tournament really, really quickly. So, I mean, that'll level the playing field if it ends up that way. But knocking on some wood here, I looked at the weather forecast, and it's looking a lot better for us now. So, fingers crossed, it keeps doing that.
Right on.
Anglers look at two things all the time: charts and the weather. That's all we look at all the time. But,
Same with tournament
that being said,
directors.
yeah, well, that too. When you're looking at tournament fishing, when we all know how much of a grind that could be. Like everybody sees that, okay, we're on the water for 8 hours, but realistically, we've been on the water for probably anywhere from 10 to 13 hours, depending on how the weigh-in goes and boat check and stuff like that. Do you guys tend to shorten that a little bit when it comes to the youth, with the kids, stuff like that, not to grind them out so long? Or
so last year I was doing it because I was blasting off at 8 and bringing them in at 2 to weigh in. But Chase fished the qualifier last year in the Kawarthas, and as a 9-year-old, Scottie, and anyway, so I went there, and that was like a full day, 7 to 3, and I was like, well, I'm gonna change the rules to my club and make them go 7 to 3, because that it's just, since we're hosting it and I'm putting my whole club out there, it just gets them ready to be out there for the whole tournament. So like basically I treated this year as like a preparation for this weekend.
Awesome. I have to now ask Gary, we featured the Barnews family on here. I believe it was the last time we had a Power Hour, and they were on their way down to the States, and it was because of this tournament, if I'm not mistaken, that qualified for them to compete down in the States. How freaking cool is that?
That is awesome. Like just the thrill that they get. They don't even have to be first or the top 20. It's that experience. That experience will get you to continue fishing, make you want to go out there. There's so many people covering cost where they're able to go out there and fish without worrying about expenses. That's the big thing. If they do well, we have a member in our club, Mississauga Club. His 2 kids live in Alabama. They never came back.
Wow.
They were part of that program, and they've done well ever since then. So that's the opportunities that are out there. And then the Americans are putting out scholarships. So if you're really at it, there's some big changes that can happen if you're in that industry.
Now, what are some of the concerns? Because I saw it was actually on the news this morning, where they were talking about the amount of money that is spent now for kids' sports. And when we look at fishing, obviously things are a little bit different this side of the border than it is down to the south when it comes to the availability of money. And, the Americans, I have to tip my hat to them. They certainly know how to prepare food. They certainly know how to have a good time. And when it comes to sporting events, they know exactly how much money to throw at it to make it a success. We don't have that luxury up here in Canada, but to be able to know, like Christian, as I said, I just shake my head at the belief sitting on that dock when I was maybe 4 years younger than you are right now, thinking, you know what, I would love to be Bob Azumi. But the thought of that happening was like, I might as well have looked for a unicorn. It's just, it wasn't going to happen. Whereas you guys, like Cooper Gallant is competing right now, and the chance that you have that ability to, maybe one day rub shoulders with not only Cooper, but a lot of other Canadians that are doing really well on that bass circuit, the door is open. And the opportunity that you guys have right now, I'm telling you, it excites me, and I'm not even fishing it.
These kids are on a good path right now.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
Both of
if there was anything, Chase, that you could say, obviously, you have your dad that got you involved in this. Is there any advice that you can give a young angler about fishing or getting into fishing? And perhaps if they wanted to take it to the next level and be a tournament angler, have you got any advice for them?
Yeah. So like if you never give up and chase your dreams often and often.
Yep. Amen. Well said. Danny, you go ahead, bro. I know you got more questions.
one little piece of advice too: don't let the clock beat you up. Don't get clock watching. I've had that happen to me, and you get caught in your head, and all of a sudden, it's 2:00, and we haven't got a big fish. Well, I still got 2 hours of fishing ahead of me, and you get caught up that way. So that's the toughest one. That's always been my nemesis. My entire career is fighting the clock. And
so as boat captains,
yeah.
as boat captains, obviously you're the angler. Does the captain? Do you steer the boat? Are you working the pedals? Are you working the trolling motor? Like, how does that all work? Are you just zoned into fishing, Christian, or is your boat captain doing a lot of work behind the scenes?
Well, most tournaments that I've had this year, I've been running the trolling motor mainly just because I wanted to learn. So I've adapted to most of it, and it's taught me a lot, which I appreciate them because I could see that they put effort into teaching me it, and I'm confident that I could run it myself. But they do run it time to time if we're in those, heavy weeds or, they just feel like running it. But I do like to run the trolling motor, and I like learning about it.
Amen. And Gary, are we solid for boat captains? Do you have enough as it is right now?
Boat captains as of right now, if there is any needed, Cody, I think is just the one for.
I think as of yesterday, we're good.
We're good. Oh, that's awesome. That's the best noise you can make right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I think all teams have a captain. I that last one, I handed off 2 days ago. I think they registered last night.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great news.
And do you choose as anglers where you're going to fish? Like, is it all up to you? Do you point? Like, how does that all work with your boat captain? Go ahead, Chase.
Yes, but you gotta tell them where you want to go. Oh, but if they don't know that spot, you kind of gotta show them a little bit by telling them directions and whatnot.
I love it.
So he's 10. He thinks he can get back to some of these spots that some of these boat captains have taken them to. So Cole Bailey, if you're out there watching, buddy, he thinks he knows where he got all those largemouth.
Yep, I do. I still know the exact same bait that I was using.
Look out.
To answer more of that question on the captains, there is a few rules. When it comes to the junior side, they're able to net their fish, help tie line, a lot of stuff that the kids are not 100% with, they're able to. When it comes to the high schoolers, they're all on their own. The coach, which is the boat captain, can call out a timeout. There's timeouts throughout the day, stop them from fishing, a little bit of education, let them know what they're doing wrong. Just advice, really. I think they get 5 throughout the day.
5 1-minute breaks, and then 15 minutes at 11:30, Gary.
Wow.
So there is a little bit of work for the coaches to do. They do have to still power the boat. Some of the high schoolers are expected to have a boating craft license with them if they do travel to the States. Christian himself, some boat captains allow them. I think some of them are only allowed to run a certain amount of horsepower. But yeah, they put in the effort. They listen to the kids. Wherever they want to go, the captains will oblige to it, which is great.
Now, are the anglers, are they much like the NOWT and the tournament circuit that goes up on the north? They're all part of a chat group. Chase and Christian, are you guys part of a chat group that you're talking to some of the anglers right now, or how does that all work?
Not for me, not really. I mean, I'm not in any groups. It's more personal stuff.
Right.
Like, I'll talk to some anglers personally, but no groups.
No groups. So nobody's like chirping or talking smack already. Like they're behaving.
They're all behaving.
They're behaving. That's good.
Which is good.
They're all being stingy with their information. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, both Cody and Gary, I'll get you to answer this question. Judging by some of the pictures that I have here, what are we expecting? Is there a bag weight that we think will take it this weekend at this tournament?
Yeah, I think in the high school division, I think you got to have north of 18 a day to win if the smallmouth are going to play.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree on that. That's a good number. And then if they're on their game, 2 18-pound bags should do it.
And then for the juniors, I mean, it's tough for them, but like if they get 14 to 16 pounds a day, like they're gonna be in contention because number one, the junior group I don't think is as large as the high school. I think out of the 23 or 25 teams that are coming, I think there's only like 7 or 8 junior teams, and the rest of them are all high school. So, I mean, the odds are better in the junior division right now.
Gotcha. Just to bring up what happened at the MLF tournament, and as bass connoisseurs, I will say that Danny and I are amongst tonight. The Dirty 30 that Lucas pulled out of the St. Lawrence. How incredible of an event was that? Like, I mean, for me who doesn't tournament fish, even I was overwhelmed by the size of bag that he brought up. And of course, it's an incredible fishery, but what an accomplishment. And it just speaks to not only the angler, but of course the fishery itself. But I had to put that in there because that bag of 30 plus fish was incredible.
Massive bag.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Danny.
I just kind of, when every time we talk to, especially with youth and stuff like that, and the kids, you going through all this, you hear all the talk about the baits and the techniques and stuff like that. Do you guys really kind of start focusing in, or when do you start focusing in on understanding like structure, like here's how you read your maps, guys. This is how you pick your spots and stuff like that. Are you guys starting to see
You can do that, right?
kids showing interest in that?
Go.
Go ahead, Chase.
I love how he's got an answer.
Chase can run the trolling motor and he can read the live scope on his own now. He's starting to learn that, like, rocks and certain things hold fish. So he's learning that, like, he can cast to structure as well and get hooked up. He's big time a power fisherman, so like he likes to see what he's fishing. So he's very structure prone already. You know what I mean? He's very dialed into like docks and logs and certain. Dad, look at that tree hanging over there with that rock behind it. I bet you there's a bass there, right? So they're already learning that. Like every time they go out on the water, like every time they're out, they're learning from these captains. Like, and I got to hand it to every single one of these captains that are actually taking the time to teach them, and not just being like, oh, I just got a couple kids to go fishing. No, like they're spending the time teaching them the knots, teaching them how to call, teaching them how to read the live scope, how to run the trolling motor. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And just watching him, like just being out with him and watching him run the trolling motor and being like, oh, Dad, 2 bus lengths that way, there's a bunch of fish, right? So it's like
that is so
you don't
cool.
want to get the kids
yeah.
Sorry,
that is so
you don't
cool.
want to just have kids breaking bank down, right? Just pounding away and hitting bank and stuff like that. And then what kind of made me think of that was listening to Christian talking about drop shotting. Well, that's a very finesse technique. You really got to understand the water you're fishing. You got to know where you're casting that bait, because you're limiting your footprint down to what you're chasing, right? So that's kind of what made me think of that.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Christian, I maybe I'll ask you. I don't think a lot of folks have spent any time asking the young anglers when it comes to live scope. And am I assuming that all the boat captains are going to have live scope in their boats for the tournament?
Good 50 to 75% might, but there's a couple that won't have some, which is not always a bad thing, but some people don't. Most of the captains I say would, though. Okay.
Now that you've had a little bit of time working with it, Christian, because I don't think anybody's ever asked anglers of your age and caliber. Do you see live scope as a means of making a good angler better, or is it simply does it make an angler more efficient? I think there's a big argument there that, live scope doesn't necessarily make you a better angler, but it certainly makes you more efficient because you're able to spot fish and see fish that you normally wouldn't see. Could you imagine tournament fishing without live scope?
Yeah, I've done it most of the time, but yet again, I've learned how to use it, but I don't rely on it 100%. It's there, and when I do use it, I try and learn what the fish like, how they're moving, just learn everything in general, but I try not to rely on it.
That's awesome. Chase, what about you? I mean, at 10 years old, you were obviously using it when you were a little bit younger than that, but could you talk to what live scope means to you as an angler? Is it something that you could do without, or is it something that you can't wait to see the next version come out?
I'd say both.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, I've learned this one technique where I just look at the live scope and use it, but I always keep my rod beside the boat, but not where the fish are, so they see where it is, or the ones that are below the boat.
It's incredible technology, and I know it's taking a lot of heat right now, but at the end of the day, live scope, in my opinion, what I saw this past week up at Horwood, it just made a great angler a heck of a lot more efficient. To see a captain, he is a charter captain, Jim Wilson, dial a lake that he's never been to in 2 days was truly an accomplishment in itself. And I knew having him up there, he was going to prove to all of us how good of an angler he was. But as we saw with the live scope, he would literally go into a bay, he'd circle it. There'd be no big fish, at least that he would see on the screen, and then he'd go to a different body of water. So to me, it's making a good angler even more efficient, not necessarily better, but more efficient. Dan, you've had lots of time with it. I'm sure you want to talk about it.
Scottie, we could have an entire show on my opinions on this.
We could.
I've changed so many ways of how I fish, not just how I look for fish or how I fish for the fish, with the techniques I learned. I mean, it keeps blowing my mind of what capabilities I have. But the other thing we kind of discovered, Mary Lisa stumbled onto this, and we were talking to other anglers when we were up in Long Lac, is that, when you kind of go back to old school fishing, we said, well, why don't you do this while I'm doing this? It wasn't effective. It's like, why am I not catching fish? I used to catch 100 fish doing this. You kind of realize now that the fish we're targeting, yes, they're bigger, but they're far and few between. So those techniques don't work anymore in those areas. And we're in completely different areas that we never fished before. But yeah, dude, I can go on a whole show about this, no problem.
100%.
I found that it's answered so many questions while fishing.
Yep.
Like you can study them a lot better now.
Breaks bad habits. Everything. Yeah.
There's so many there's so many questions you have when you're fishing, and you always question it. Like, they must go to school too. They're not dumb, right?
No. Yeah, I gotta agree with you.
And based on
sorry.
Go ahead, Dan.
I said the stuff that I seen this winter and how fish were reacting to forward-facing sonar, they're learning too. They're definitely learning. They're adapting it. And I'm on a major fishery league. They're used to this stuff, and so it's a tool for us, but they're understanding what that means is what that's boiling down to, right? So they make adjustments accordingly, and it's getting harder and not necessarily easier.
No,
I just think it's cool that some of the answers that we've heard both from Christian and Chase about them trying to find structure in docks and things that, when we didn't have live scope, Dan, I don't think we even had 2D sonar. Well, at least I didn't back in my day. We had to learn where the rock piles are. We used to have to mark with the Javex bottle. We used to have to do it. And Ben talks about all the stuff that he did too. But as I said, as a young angler, it's so it's refreshing to hear that you lads have learned the basics before being in some would argue tainted by live scope. And I'm also intrigued to hear that, you know what, you could do without it if you had to. It's not a game changer by any means. So that's also really cool. How many female anglers are involved in the event?
We got a few.
Is that right?
I have 2 high school girls in my club. I believe you got a picture of them somewhere there, Scotty.
Yeah, there is. There they are, right there.
That is Clara Bonin on the left and Kate Laddie on the right. They are definitely a team to watch out for going into this.
Absolutely.
Look at those fish.
That they had almost 19 pounds with that bag, and that was about 2 weeks ago. Clara, she lives down there, Port Rowan, and Kate pretty much lives on her dad's boat. So the girls have been out pre-fishing, and they're ready. They're amped up, let me tell you. And their boat captain, I think a lot of people might know her, is big sister Avery Bonin. So Avery's just as we all know Avery and how much she loves to win, loves to fish and catch. And that's definitely a team to watch out for.
Right on. And some of these other teams that we have here, of course, some notables that we just spoke about. Trevor has certainly blossomed into a fantastic.
Trevor's actually not fishing it this year. He's too old to qualify now.
Wow.
He's definitely paved the way for a lot of the kids that are in the industry right now, which helps us a lot.
Just about to say that, Gary. He's a big influence to a number of kids in my club. I know Miles Botsang took a shine towards him last year at the qualifier, and he kind of took some of the Erie kids under his wing and just said, it's going to be tough fish out there. Just keep your head down, fish hard, and we'll see you at the finish line kind of thing. And that's just it's just nice to hear that, right?
Awesome.
He also has a great teacher as well.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And if you're listening, Jay, we're talking about you.
I had to watch him the other night on Monday to take a few notes to see how I do tonight.
Well, you know what? Next to Jim and Lawrence, nobody does it better. I will say, Jay is someone that I truly look up to for the work that he does on a regular basis, and he's doing it at an age where a lot of us old guys might be thinking of letting the younger folks take the lead, but you know what? He's kind of like me. He doesn't like to see people outwork him, and he keeps at it. But
so that was Damian Kimball there. He's
another young fella right there.
Yeah, he qualified last year. He will be fishing this year as well. He's quite a stick.
You got quite a few, judging by the pictures here. Who are these two?
There's some quality fishermen. Chase is good, and then in his junior program, he's got some really, really talented anglers that he's up against too. I got to make a mention of Jack Earls. He's a 10-year-old that he was a hot commodity in the club this year. A lot of people wanted to partner with him. There's a reason for that. So,
there's also another thing. If you can go back to that picture, Scotty, if you notice that there's 2 different clubs in that picture. You got a Sauga City angler named Christian, and then you got a Hamilton angler. They teamed up on an event that Cody had, which is great. These are the opportunities. We make sure no kids on shore, right? And then the qualifier that's coming up right now, Michael's actually Christian's partner. They'll be partnering up this weekend. So you got Hamilton and Mississauga.
Yeah, Michael can fish really good too. So it's gonna be a good event. I think it's gonna take some weight to win this one for sure.
Wow, exciting stuff. Dan, I'll let you go.
So I got one after we talked about Avery. I want to know, Chase and Christian, who is your favorite YouTuber? Who do you guys follow? Who do you watch all the time?
Go ahead, Christian. You go.
For me, number one is Cooper Gallant.
Yeah.
It's definitely influenced me more in fishing. And, I try watching it before every tournament, just trying to get in that mode, get my brain focused. And I had a tournament down Lake St. Clair with Cody, and I was talking to Cooper. He was helping me out. I was watching I kept rewinding his video all night, just trying to focus in. He helped me out. He sent me a message, but yeah, Cooper Gallant's definitely number one.
Man, it's awesome to hear. Chase, you're up next. Who's your biggest influencer?
Avery and what is it again?
They'll come in.
Say Big Jim.
Aaron Martins.
Oh,
And
wow.
I kind of gotten inspired for it a little bit.
Did you guys hear that one though? That last one?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's wow. Yeah. He inspired a lot of us. There's no doubt about that. As I said, there's lots of folks to thank. Obviously, the moms who put up with the time away from home,
100%,
and have to deal with all the chores. We a big tip of the hat to all the moms, and of course the rest of the extended family. But is there anybody else, Chase or Cody, that you'd like to thank? Take the time and thank.
Not thank anybody. Your Nina, your mom. Well, I'd just like to thank all the once again, I got to thank all the boat captains. I got to thank all my volunteers that helped me this year. John Ricazzi, that guy's the man. So he's been my right hand man. Like, he goes and picks up plaques for me, and he makes roster payments, and I couldn't do it without him. He's actually running the live release boat this weekend, so he's going to be making sure that all the fish are taken care of and let go back into the lake nice and healthy. The parents for bringing all their kids down to all over the place, wherever. So we went all the way to St. Clair. As you heard, Gary, Christian, his brother, brought him all the way from Mississauga all the way down to Lake St. Clair and Chatham. So just all kinds of just for having parents that are willing to do that for their kids. And we're so thankful for that, and we're so thankful for what we have, and what we're extremely excited to show off what we got this weekend. We're really pumped about it.
Very cool. I'll let you go, Christian and Gary. Anybody other than I know you want to thank Mom, but anybody else that you want to pay some honor to?
Definitely everybody that is watching right now, the CFNers, you guys are all awesome. Just that support is huge. We do have all the rest of the support from family members, from sponsors. Shimano's our title sponsor for this weekend. They're giving away, I think, 6 rods, Zotis rods. 2 high school teams will make Team Ontario and 1 junior team. So every kit will go off with a Shimano hat too. Our club sponsors, Migsig, we got Wu Tungsten. There's so many of them. North Shore,
Landscape Contracting.
Landscape's another one. We thank you guys. The parents, you guys are awesome. Without
Crush
you,
City, Shimano.
Yeah.
These are big opportunities. Anthony and Bianca, they're behind the scenes. They're doing all the legwork, paperwork, making sure all the legal part of it is done. So this way Bass is ready for this tournament. Thank my wife.
Amen.
Thank her.
Amen. Now, when it comes to volunteers, do you need any volunteers for this weekend, or how are you guys? Are you guys pretty good?
I got a pretty good crew here between Gary and myself and Jason, and Trevor's going to be around, and John, and yeah, for the most part, I think we got quite a few, but it never hurts to have too many hands on deck, right? So, I mean, if people are that want to come down and assist, more than happy to give you a job. Absolutely.
Where would they go, Cody? Should they get in touch with you before, or should they just show up?
Well, you can definitely get in touch with me by direct message on Facebook, or by email at bassboy@aol.com. Or if you just want to show up and watch the show, we'll be at the McDonald Turkey Point Marina in Turkey Point this weekend. Weigh-in starts at 3:00 on Saturday. Sunday, same time. So Sunday will be the day that we give away all the prizes, and we find out who qualifies. And just to correct what Gary said there. I think he just missed one thing there. So he mentioned that 2 high school teams. So unfortunately, this comes back to what we're doing tonight is we're trying to promote this. So Bass has actually changed the rules now. So unfortunately, only 1 high school team is going to qualify this year because our numbers are down slightly across Ontario. So we need to get those numbers back up to about 60 members, and then we can start sending more teams down again. So that's a big thing. So if you want to join a bass club, reach out to someone like myself or Gary or Curtis Cronkright or even Anthony.
I got a website here, youth2 at ontariobass.com. Youth2
that's
at
his,
ontariobass.com.
Anthony Dubé's email, correct, Gary?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. So Anthony Dubé is the head OBN youth director of Ontario, and he's the guy that can get you linked up with a club nearby you. And if there's not a club, like where Danny mentions he's up Sault Ste. Marie area, there's a virtual club that you can join, and you can just fish virtual tournaments throughout the year. And that's all through Bassmaster, and it all starts with a membership to Bass. So
cool. Right on. Danny, I'll leave you with the last question, my friend.
I'm all questioned out right now. Everybody did a great job, so I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said, if I start asking questions again, I'm just going to start rambling on, and I can see the time, so I'm not going to bother doing that.
You want to talk about forward-facing sonar some more?
Absolutely, I love forward-facing sonar. That's my jam. I love that. So,
but I will say, I wanted
another time.
I wanted to hear from the young anglers, because at the end of the day, it gets such a criticism that basically you're just these young anglers are just staring into a box. It's made the playing field unlevel. I've heard this, that, and everything else. At the end of the day, I truly believe that if an older angler like myself is struggling with it, it's because we just don't know how to use it properly. But at the end of the day, it's a tool. It's no different than a trolling motor or anything else for that matter. It's a tool. And if it helps you, it makes you more efficient. It makes you see fish that you didn't see. As Christian mentioned, and Gary, it's taught you a lot about the fish that you didn't know because you've never been able to see that aspect of it. I think there's a lot of good there. I don't think it's all bad like it's being painted by some. But at the end of the day, I've never heard it from a young angler's mouth. So this is so cool.
You got me going now, but I'm just gonna say I noticed from a bass walleye side, it's less needed or less of an asset, and not really necessary an asset in the bass side. You guys can get away with it a lot less because you're fishing a lot more heavy structure, weeds and stuff like that, where it's not as a useful tool. Whereas we're chasing fish in suspended water and stuff like that, where it becomes more of an asset and more of a utilized tool. But I'm stopping right there, I promise.
Hey, if you're on them and you're on them, a little trick: turn off your sonars.
Amen. Amen, brother. Yeah. Well, listen, on behalf of CFN, myself, Danny, and all who are watching, thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the support. Christian, Chase, I wish you guys well this weekend. And all I can say to you, Cody, and you, Gary, you guys have done a fantastic job in igniting the passion for angling in both your sons and those who are around them. And, of course, all those who are going to be participating this weekend. So to you, lads, keep up the great work.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Right on. Thanks again for joining us tonight. And for all those who are looking to see the results, where are they going to be posted, the results from this weekend?
You'll definitely find them throughout the clubs that are involved. And in Ontario Bass Junior Nation, you'll definitely find it there.
Cool.
Between Gary and I, we're both pretty active on Facebook on who won the event. So it'll definitely.
Our hour.